Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And since my previous video, since I did my give my thoughts on the trailer for the supposedly the blood relative uh to Cloverfield on the titled 10 Cloverfield Lane. So I feel since it comes out in March, I figure I'd do this before the film comes out. And so I said I would review it. So I'm going to do it right now. So I'm going to review the first Cloverfield film, that was released in 2008 in January. And this film did remarkably well for a film that comes out in January, because usually a lot of films don't do well in January. But this film did remarkably well. And when we first heard about Cloverfield is when they promoted for the first teaser for Cloverfield, when the first Transformers came out back in 2007. And I remember seeing the first teaser because I did see the first Transformers in theaters. So yeah, but I did see the first. I said the first teaser when this came out, and it didn't show what the title was of Cloverfield. It didn't show the name of the title. It just said it was a J.J. Abrams production film. Producer J.J. Abrams, and that was pretty much it. And I got it, and I got interested about how this is, and I did see Cloverfield in the theater, and I really did like the film. For a found footage film about this whole giant monster found footage film, I thought it did really well. And yes, J.J. Abrams did produce this. I'm not, and listen, for other thing is, I think the guy is an overrated director though. I think the best film that he did was Mission Impossible 3, but as a producer, as a producer, I thought this was another one of his finest works as well. So, J.J. Abrams, I thought he did good for producing this film. That's just one of his, I consider as one of his better work as well. And it's him working along with director Matt Reeves, which he directed the sequel, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which I do not like either, but I would say this is his best film. Before Cloverfield, he also think he directed a film called I can't forget, it was before or after Cloverfield. He directed a film called Let Me In, which it starred Chloe Grace Moretz, who's a vampire, I think she was. I've yet to see that film though, but I really enjoy this film. And for Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams, I think it's one of their best work, I'd say. Well, J.J. Abrams as a producer. So, I think I would say that J.J. Abrams did a better job producing than Michael Bay produced the new Ninja Turtles movie. I just had to bring that up though, but I enjoy Cloverfield, and I think it's a for what it did for how they made this giant monster film, make it all found footage. I thought it was a interesting idea because um J.J. Abrams, he came up with the idea while promoting Mission Impossible 3, and because he saw, I guess he looked, the Godzilla toys and stuff, and gave him interested, he wanted to make his own new American monster movie. He said he wanted to do something that's totally more like intense and more uh scary and stuff, and then that's when he got with director Matt Reeves, and this is what they came up with. And just and I also remember watching if you're watching on Chiller 13 on the Chiller channel, this what appeared in the top 13 the scariest movies of the decade, from till 2010 to 2000. This was I think it was like the sixth film. And and for all reasons, but and when the film came out, it was a big hit. It had a big opening weekend, made like 40 million. And for just for what they worked on a $25 million budget, what they worked with for the film, it was, I guess it was well directed with that amount of budget. And compare how giant monster films are, I wish the budget's like much bigger than that. But for what they work with, the limited budget like 25 million to make it look like this big, a big found footage giant monster film, made with it, and made worldwide 170 million. It was a big hit. And after this, they talked with the and then plus also the reception was good as well. It's a 7.1 on IMDb and has a 77, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes. So it was well received as well. Even on the front and back of the cover here. So on the back here it says it's frightening from Time. And on the front here, Scary delivers the thrills from Roger Ebert. May he rest in peace, Roger Ebert. He says Scary delivers the thrills. A terrific movie filled with spectacle and humor. From the San Francisco Chronicle, a heart-racing experience with plenty of chills and acceleration. USA Today. And I agree with that. I would say I could definitely see why. And after this, they've been talking about a sequel for quite a while until all of a sudden this new trailer comes appears. I guess like I said before in that video, they were pretty hush about it. And they want to surprise people. Oh look! All of a sudden, there's a movie being made. Is it a sequel or not? You know. But J.J. Abrams says that 10 Cloverfield Lane is a blood relative. See how that term plays out when I see it. But it was I thought it was just an interesting idea, especially for a new take different on a found footage film. And yes, usually with the ending follows with usually like 90% of the time found footage ends the same way. Yeah, but but with the ending I'll let it slide because I enjoy the film, so I'll let that slide. But usually not at times found footage films ends the same way though. But with this film, if I enjoy the film, I was entertained by the film, I'll let it slide. It was the same thing with Blair Witch Project, but Blair Witch Project I love more than this film though. But regardless, but anyway, getting to the story. It's about this guy who is moving to Japan, and his brother, his best friend, are playing this big going away party, and this is in New York, Manhattan, and the guy who plays his brother, Jason, is played by Mike Vogel. I remember best pronounce his last name. I remember him. He was in the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he was also in the remake of Poseidon. He plays the brother of our main character named Rob, played by Michael Stahl-David. I mispronounced his middle name, but Rob. And his best friend, played by T.J. Miller in his film debut. T.J. Miller, being in that sitcom Silicon Valley, and being in other films like the fourth Transformers film, where he voices Tough Nut in the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, which I've always enjoyed his voice role in How to Train Your Dragon in the franchise. T.J. Miller. He also voiced Fred in the Big Hero 6. And of course, he's starring in the upcoming Deadpool movie as well. But this was his. Also, he also was in Yogi Bear as well. But this was his first film debut. He plays Rob's best friend, Hud. And Jason, before the party, Jason, Rob's brother Jason, tells Hud to take the camera and start recording people, giving their farewells and goodbyes to Rob, so he can take along until when he's gone. So, and then this big party begins, and Hud is recording all different people saying stuff, and Then surprise, Rob comes in, and then shortly after his ex-girlfriend named Beth comes in with this other guy, and they haven't spoken to each other within weeks. And also before and throughout the film, there were some cuts between when they were together, when they were on Coney Island, because this footage has been recording over that footage. So when she shows up, and then things get a little bit they have a little bit of fight, and they both have a little bit of a fight and stuff, and then all of a sudden there's this apparent earthquake that happens, and so they all head up to they see on TV there's this oil rig that capsized near the Statue of Liberty. They run up to the roof, and then way off in the distance there's this big explosion, and then they run up to the street. And then comes one of my favorite parts of the movie, and probably one of the most iconic scenes in the movie. As soon as they get in the street, then all of a sudden the Statue of Liberty head comes hurled right in the middle of the street, which of course right there, and which of course they wanted to make a reference to Escape from New York, which John Carpenter's Escape from New York, which I absolutely love. That the poster has a picture, Kurt Russell, and the Statue of Liberty head is right behind him. So they wanted to make an homage to that, which I thought was a nice touch, because I love Escape from New York, and I thought it was a kind of a nice touch on that, because they had to get out of New York before being killed by this monster. Hence, Escape from New York, basically. Yeah, so I thought it was one of my favorite scenes, because all of a sudden the Statue of Liberty is all of a sudden right in the middle of the street. So yeah, it comes flying in, and Hudson goes like, "Whoa, shit," all this stuff, And of course, probably a typical thing would happen. People start recording with their phones. There are people taking pictures of the Statue of Liberty head, and you see that it has claw marks on it. And then you see that he gets a shot where you see this large thing, like down the street. You see something move and stuff, but he said, "Oh, I saw it. It's alive and stuff." So they have to plan. They have to get out there. So they plan to go to the Brooklyn Bridge. They stop because Rob gets a call because Beth is stuck in her apartment, and there's something fell. He knows that she can't move, and she's bleeding and stuff, and they stop because of it. But his brother Jason is way down. As he gets up on a lamppost, all of a sudden this large they say it's a tail or something like that. A large, like an arm or a tail, comes slam down and it kills him and some other people, and breaks the Brooklyn Bridge. So they run on back. So they want to plan to go. They have to plan and go. Rob, he wants to make the idea to go and get her, but they say it's in the middle of town. That's where the monster is at. And while they're at this they're at the electronics store to call her again, they look on the TV and they see some things falling from the creature, and these little the little monsters, I would say, they say it's parasitic or something. It's like these. It's small little creatures. Let's put it that way. It's on TV. They just fall and they start attacking people. And so they want to head over there. Then all of a sudden, the military start coming in. They start shooting tanks, bazookas, and stuff. Doesn't seem to be affecting the monster. And they decide to go head down into the subway. And then that's where you get as they head towards downstairs of the subway. This is where you get your first clear view shot of what the monster looks like. So they head down there, so they have to wait a little bit until they finally go off into the tunnels, where it's, of course, usually in horror films, the tunnels usually is not the best place to go. So, and it's all pitch dark, and when they turn on the night vision lens, all the little creatures are on top of something. They run, they get attacked. Like a HUD gets attacked, and you see one right in the camera's face. This other girl named Marlena. She gets attacked and she gets bit. And then when they get back onto the station, they go to this I think it's a mall. I think it's like where the military's quarantine zone. Um, they see that the girl who was bitten starts tearing blood, and they take her back, and you see, and when they take her back with this plastic curtain, and all of a sudden, all this patch of blood just explodes from the girl. Guess when she gets bitten, I guess whatever it's not curable, and all of a sudden she just goes and explodes. You see a burst of blood against the curtain. So, but they tell the military they need to get her. He wants to get Beth, but they say no, it's no good. It's because we have a plan. Because they have a plan to they have like one last attack, and if that doesn't work, they're gonna nuke Manhattan, so they have to get out, evacuate. So the one soldier knows that he can't stop him, so he lets him go to the place where she's at, and they find that her apartment where she's living is one of the tall buildings, and it's the one that's it's this building right here. So this is one building. It's like perfectly straight. They finally see that the part of the building where she's living is leaning against the other one. And I was like, oh, it's like wow. It just had this she lives up there, and it's happens to be one that's leaning against one other building. And then HUD says, maybe you should go on top of the other building and go on top of the roof and climb down to get to her. and HUD, T.J. Miller, he says, no, I take that back. That's a bad idea. But they go anyway. They climb they use the stairs. They climb all the way to the top, jump on top of the other building to get to her. And they find her, and she's stuck between. I guess she got impaled or something. It's hard to tell because it's a little bit dark, but she was stuck. So they get whoever's off of her, and they go back onto the other building all the way down, and they head off to where the evacuation point is. The helicopters. A girl that was with her named Lily. She gets put into another helicopter, and while Rob, Beth, and HUD, they go on another helicopter. So, and then you never see the other girl again. So you can the girl Lily, she's safe. But then with the helicopter they're on, they get a viewpoint of what's down in Manhattan. They see the giant monster. They start shooting at it, and it falls down. It falls down though, and they think they got it. And HUD's like, yeah, this and that, and all of a sudden the thing just lashes out at them. They lose control of the helicopter and it crashes. And then it gets to another cut. With it, because like I said, throughout the movie, you get to a little bit cutscenes of the Rob and Beth when they were together on Coney Island. And when this happened, this whole thing happened. Well, I'll get that part in a second, but it cuts back to the crash. They survive the crash, but when HUD went back to get the camera, the creature's up in his face and it attacks him. So, yeah, he dies, and then Rob goes and gets the camera. They hide underneath this bridge, and they hear the sirens come. They're gonna nuke Manhattan. So they give they're basically their last will and testament, saying, "This is Rob, and less than 7 hours ago, we were attacked by this creature, attacked Manhattan, and this and that." And what happened is it's May 23rd. This, which I'll get to. So the one bomb goes off as the bridge starts crumbling. They say, "I love you," this and that, and the bridge all of a sudden comes down on them. So I guess they say they look like they got killed by all the falling bridge on top of them got collapsed on them. And then it cuts back to them when they're back on Coney Island, which was on the day it's April 27th, and this attack occurred on May 22nd, the night it was. And then when they were on a ride, I guess, and it cuts back to a wide shot of the ocean, far in the distance, you see something fall from the sky and into the ocean, indicating this thing came from space, and it took a little while for, less than a month, for this thing to grow a tiny size, I guess, and attack the place. So yeah. But Cloverfield, I like Cloverfield. Yeah, but besides from the ending where everyone dies, I'll list I said like so for 90% found footage ends the same way. But since I was entertained by this film, I'll let that slide. That's pretty much the only thing that I have with the film because that was the ending though. But the whole thing with just this found footage film, but it's a giant monster film. It's like a Godzilla film, but it's found footage. Because that's what they were going for because they wanted to go with a new American monster, and that is not Godzilla. It's something new, a different monster, refreshing, something like that. And yeah, I mean, I thought it would be I thought it would be cool if I would have thought it would be cool if it was really a Godzilla movie, but it was found footage. Godzilla just destroying all of New York, but it's all filmed from a camera. Just. But that's just me though. But yeah, I understand what they were going for. Yeah, it's like a Godzilla movie, but it's not. But it's a new different monster. That's just found footage. So, but I like the film for what it worked it from what money that they have from this budget and make it turn into a giant for a giant monster movie that looks compared to I would say Godzilla 2014 and stuff like that, other giant monster films of today, which the budgets are at least triple that. For a small enough budget like 25 million made to this big monster film that's from a point of view of a camera that was really well done. Yeah, with Matt Reeves, with director Matt Reeves and producer J.J. Abrams when they worked with this together, I thought they did a really good job. Better than Matt Reeves when he directed Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I think this is much better than Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and I think he's directing the next one as well, called War of the Planet of the Apes. So I would like this a lot much better than the reboot Planet of the Apes. And J.J. Abrams, I thought he did it. I thought it was one of his finer works when he was a producer. As a director, J.J. Abrams, I think the best film that he did was Mission Impossible 3. I'm not a fan of the new Star Trek movies. Super 8. Not entirely sure on that film though, but I would say it's better. Better. But I would put below Mission Impossible 3 though, because I'm not a fan of his Star Trek films. And of course, the new Star Wars movie, which I think is overrated. I think when he produced this film, I thought it was much more of his better work than Star Wars, but that's just me though. For features, has a deleted scenes, alternate endings, outtakes, the making of Cloverfield, a commentary with director Matt Reeves, the hidden research into case designate the Cloverfield, or how that word was. The film's on for, what's the time for this thing? It's only 84 minutes. It's less than 90 minutes. By the time by the ending was like an hour and 5 minutes. So it's not, well, taken with credits as well. But yeah, before the credits roll, it was less than 80 minutes though, by a couple minutes. So it's a short film. It's not that long a film, so but I like Cloverfield. The effects of the creature, the look of the creature. There was a creature that resembled. It was yeah. When I mentioned Godzilla 2014, that's what those Muto creatures looked like. It looked like it was a ripoff from this creature from Cloverfield, which this creature from Cloverfield looks much more better looking than the Mutos in Godzilla 2014. So yeah, that's what those creatures. That's what reminded me when those creatures. They ripped off the creature from this film because with all the long arms and stuff. How the way the mouths kind of looks like the mouths from those. Only except the creature in this film didn't do the electromagnetic pulse thing. So, but all the things that they did with it, just showing all the things what's going on and all the stuff like the explosion in the distance, or the Statue of Liberty. What caused the Statue of Liberty? Liberty had flying into the street until you saw a little bit of it down the street. Until you get the first full reveal what this creature looks like. And most of the times, weapons didn't affect this thing because they were shooting bazookas, tanks. Didn't seem to affect the thing. And even after our nuclear blast, I guess it wouldn't have done nothing, because if it's supposed to be like a blood relative in 10 Cloverfield Lane, I'm not entirely sure if we'll see that. Well, I'm not entirely sure if we're not gonna see this creature in that film, let alone also the little ones as well. But the first film, the Cloverfield, I like the film. So, and the cast, I thought they were, and but also there was no I don't think there was no score on here. It doesn't say no music by whatever. I think there was no score in this film. Guess for some found footage films like the Blair Witch Project and this film, there's no need to have a score in this. The cast, I thought they were fine. The guy who played Rob, Michael Stahl-David, I thought he was fine. Odette Yustman, she was an actress I remember from that another Michael Bay produced horror film that was The Unborn. She starred in that film. I didn't like that film at all. But also T.J. Miller, which I thought he was like the best actor of the bunch, because it was his first film, and T.J. Miller, I enjoyed his voice in the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. Didn't mind him in Yogi Bear. The Transformers: Age of Extinction, his role in that film. Well, to me, part of me wish they didn't kill him off, but I guess you can say that T.J. Miller has grown on me, because it's just I think he's grown on me. So, but because I enjoyed his voice in the How to Train Your Dragon franchise and stuff when he played Tough Nut. So maybe that's why. So yeah, so that's the best of my review for Cloverfield. I like Cloverfield. It's for what they worked with, how they took an idea to make a basically like a Godzilla type film, but it's found footage. I guess that's an idea they didn't work with though, but I like what they worked with, because I'm not the biggest fan of found footage films, although there were found footage films I liked. Well, the Blair Witch Project is still the best one for me. This film, other ones, As Above, So Below. That's one I like. I don't think that was not that terrible of a film. Trying to think of other ones. Horror found footage films. Oh yeah, that's another one. St. Francisville Experiment. That's another one that I like. That's a film that not everybody dies in. So, but yeah, there is some found footage films I do enjoy. So, but most of them are not that good anyway. But there's a few that I do enjoy. This is one of them. Even with its typical ending, I could let it slip because I like the film. But 10 Cloverfield Lane, I'll give it my fair chance at it, because I like John Goodman who was in it. But if the film comes out, I'm thinking you're not gonna see this creature again in the film, let alone the little ones as well though. So it's probably gonna be entirely different. But I can't tell, because from that first trailer, you didn't see anything. Because it's supposed to be like a surprise, keep the mystery and stuff like that. So, but Cloverfield, I give it a thumbs up. So, and like I said, J.J. Abrams, I think it was one of his better works. And for director Matt Reeves, I think this is his best film, better than Dawn or War of the Planet of the Apes. But J.J. Abrams, when he was producing this film, I think he did a good job producing the film. I would say it's better than Star Wars, The Force Awakens. I'll probably piss people off though, but it's all my opinion though. But I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to what I like. I'm not afraid of what I have to say though. But J.J. Abrams, his best film I would say is Mission Impossible 3, and as producer, I think this is one of his better works as a producer. I'm not the biggest fan of what he produces on television though, because although he produced Lost, a lot of people like that show. Even my dad's a fan of that show, but I never got into Lost, so. But when he produced this film, he did a good job with it. So that's my review for Cloverfield. I'll have to check out the Blood Relative because I don't know what they say it's not if it's a sequel or not. I'll have to 10 Cloverfield Lane. I'll have to give it my fair chance at it. But I'm sure that we're not gonna see this creature in that film though. But anyway, thanks for watching and stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.